From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning here on LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have and why there may be more months of checks on the board. Then we go to the recon and why that reconciliation may be giving you and is giving you more money on top of that. I'll go over what the money is and how much money it could be. Then we cut to the voting process and the bill, the date, the call for the vote, and what did Chuck Schumer say in that breaking news announcement on Friday. Then we cut to fifth stimulus with the reform of the SSI, SSDI, VA administration and the firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday. Does it impact fifth stimulus? I'll explain the details in this breaking news report. Then we go over the big money across the board that viewers continue to get, $10,000 to $20,000 every viewer daily. What's going on? I'll explain how you can get this big money on a big early mornings broadcast starting right here, right now. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and this is Early Mornings LALATE. I smell the coffee. Yeah, it smells delicious, that coffee, but I don't smell the bacon. It's something wrong. How you doing? I hope the weather is good where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. It's not good here, so don't ask about mine. In this recording, we're going to go over that fourth stimulus check and why the Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, and could there be more months of checks? And then we'll be going to the recon and why that recon has additional sums of money on top of those checks. And then we cut to the exciting details about what Chuck said on Friday. Leader Schumer speaking out about the recon and voting process. We'll go over dates, the bills, everything you've been asking, everything answered, the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay with me for those final 15 minutes. You're going to be shocked. Then America shocked on Friday as the commissioner of the Social Security Administration fired. Now he's threatening to sue. What's going on? Will this impact your reform of benefits under fifth stimulus? And then we go over the big money across the board that viewers can continue to get. Big sums of money, $10,000 to $23,000 from this channel. I'll go over all the details about how you get this money. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the mornings, like right now, well, no, at 9 o'clock, and then taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Right after this video, it'll automatically take you there live on air, and then Mornings LA live at 9 o'clock, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. 2,000 to 3,000 likes. Every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check from the Democrats and the senators and go over why the House bill, Pandemic Plus 1 year, may be more fascinating. Pandemic Plus 1 year, House bill, monthly checks, senators, July to December. Then when we look at the amounts, let's see what they say. House, 1,000 after the first month, 2,000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is this. Ooh, deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. It was 2 weeks ago where we saw this and said, well, the legislators may contend the pandemic's over. And if the pandemic's over, then the House bill would just give you 12 months of checks, which would be $13,000. And then we decided that versus the Senate. Then LA stepped in. LA's always ahead of the game, and that's what LA did again. They said the pandemic's not over. Mask mandate reverse. Then Warren Buffett said the pandemic's not over. Then airlines said the pandemic's over. And then on Thursday, the world went flip side, as we really saw that the pandemic is not over. Japan declaring a state of emergency, banning spectators of the Olympic Games. China reversing its economic growth, declining, and ICU beds at 80% capacity in the state of Missouri and other states. Pandemic is not over. So now when we look back at House versus Senate, suddenly the House with the monthly stimulus checks suggests that maybe it may pay Pandemic Plus 1 year. If it does, House bill would be more than 12 checks. which would be more than $13,000. And compare that to this from the Senate. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I want to see you voting House or Senate right now in the live chat. Boy, I know my opinion's changed. Things are moving fast, and that's why you have to stay at this channel. There is things moving literally by the minute. Sometimes I'm shocked, like what happened on Thursday. There's stuff everywhere last Thursday. It was just all over the place. The Democrats represent that everyone who got a third stimulus check will get a fourth stimulus check. Democrats represent single individuals, 75,000 or less, will get a fourth stimulus check. Democrats represent they will be giving a fourth stimulus check to a married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent a family of four will be getting a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And Democrats represent if you're on benefits, you're going to get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. The Democrats represent everyone will have the same amount of stimulus check. And the fourth stimulus check is not waivable. So if you do see the stimulus check at the surf shop and he's trying on some tube socks, and then you say, "Hey, check, I see you trying on some tube socks. Is that getting ready for the tube for when you go surf?" Check didn't like that joke. I didn't like the joke either. It made no sense. And the check sort of looks at you like, don't look at me like, not impressed, like you're grumpy cat. You're a check. You're not grumpy cat. So don't give me the grumpy cat look. It's too early in the morning. And yeah, it's just not a root check. It's just not a waivable check. It comes monthly. The Democrats represent, and sometimes they're grumpy cats. The first stimulus check can come in the month of July for the month of July, and if it doesn't, we're going to be grumpy check in the month of August for the month of August. And Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, grumpy cat, he and she said that they represented that the final vote will be by July 4th for the recon. Didn't happen. I'll explain why that didn't happen in the third part of this video, which goes over also what Chuck Schumer spoke about on Friday. Also the breaking news about the bill drafting, the writing, the amounts, and also the dates. All your questions are answered in that final 15 minutes of this video. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the recon and why that recon gives other monies to you. Wow, getting very excited. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus. And Commissioner Saul fired on Friday, head of Social Security Administration. Will that impact the reform of SSI and SSDI and VA benefits under fifth stimulus? I'll explain in the second part of this video. But let's get some money. It's Funny Monday. It's Funny Money Day. And that's what we do because money is always fun, especially when it has a lot of zeros behind it. That's what this channel has been doing since day one. This channel launched not for you to track a check, but for me to get you money. And I got viewers money, a lot of it, right at the bat. When this channel launched, people were not getting their EIDL loans approved. So I stepped in, I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans approved to get their businesses saved, their homes saved, and also their employees' homes. But in fall 2020, people needed money again. There was no stimulus check. Second stimulus checks were not being sent out. There was nothing to track. There was stuff to cash. And I stepped up and I got viewers to cash a lot of checks, $250,000 of cash in checks. Like Tyrone out of Boston, family of four for rent got $15,000 to cash. Now we're back doing the same. And I love what you're doing. You're doing an incredible job. Jump in the live chat right now if you got in rent. Post it right now. Viewers over in Evenings LA last night was reporting $13,000 a person getting for rent. Incredible sums of money. Nisi has gotten $20,000 of rent, plus utilities, plus internet and more of $23,000. Art Sullivan has gotten rent, utilities, and SNAP. He got 3 items. John got SNAP. I'll get to him in a second. But viewers are getting $13,000, $12,000. Post the money that you've gotten for rent in the live chat. I was wrong. I said rent was about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. I was really undervaluing it. Then when it came to utilities, I said it's about a couple $100. I was wrong again. Viewers over on last night's show were reporting about $3,000 they were getting for utilities. Then when you turned to SNAP, I was wrong again. I said it's about $5,000 to $6,000 of viewers are getting, because we had a couple of viewers who get $5,000 to $6,000. John got $12,000. If you got utilities, post it right now in the live chat. If you got SNAP, post it as well. Let's get that details right now because I want you to get this money. Get that pen paper ready. We can go to different places where this pot of money is available. If one says no, reach out to the next. All right, you're ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, your state house authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or the color wheel. Circle round one more time. Meatless taco. Range of options. Muddle blue or teal monster. They don't know these words. They shouldn't know these words. I wish I didn't know these words. And so don't say the wrong words. And there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful sum of money. The next pot of money is coming back from the Department of Agriculture. It's SNAP. Boy, congratulations, John. He got $12,000 for SNAP. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? You get it from Department of Agriculture. It pays a lot. It is money for food. Eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check. If you qualify for a stimulus check, why would you be paying for your own food when the federal government has offered to pay for it? Come on, let's get it. How much does it pay? A lot. A family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you're killing it. Lynn Glenn got this as well. Gail got it as well. Lynn got for herself and her son and her mom. But boy, we're 11 minutes into this video. $16,000 for staff for family for Hawaii. $5,000 for rent. Let's get the next pile of money. And one viewer got this a few nights ago on Evenings LA. It's the refund check due to computer error from your state's unemployment department. Wow. States have been ordered to return money back to you due to computer error of unemployment benefits. That's coming back. How much? One viewer got $5,000 for this. Where is it landing? Direct deposit that you have on file with the state. When? Well, reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last wonderful pot of the money is the money for that refund check from IRS. If you've gotten any of these monies and you haven't posted in the live chat, get in there right now, because every time you post it, it helps people. Number one, it inspires other people to get it. Number two, it inspires people who may have gotten one item from this channel to get the other items that we cover. Number three, it also updates people. So a lot of people are asking, has anyone gotten the refund check for this or that? They see your comments. It helps other people. Finally helps me because I see the amounts and I know what to report. All right, this last pot of the money is wonderful. That is that refund check due to IRS. How much, where, when, and why? Let's go over all the details. First, let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was the taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah. Go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search, and it'll reveal stuff that you never knew. Some stuff that you don't want to know. Stuff that you wish you forgot. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal, is there any meat in meatless tacos? It'll reveal, does muddle blue really muddle that much? It'll reveal, the muddle blue muddle much. It'll reveal the tax return check you're getting back from IRS. I can't stand muddle blue. Can we top that? We can. As we go in if I can make it, if we go into the fourth part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 right now. So Nancy, Chuck, and the president were mulling for a while before they got to the split, and that split happened two Wednesdays ago. The problem was they had a recon, and the recon had roads and bridges in there, and the roads and bridges were making the recon big. And so Nancy, Chuck, and the president, Jalapa, were meeting with Democrats saying, hey, would you vote for this? They said, no, it's too big, the recon. You got to make it smaller. So finally, 2 Wednesdays ago, they agreed upon the split, taking roads and bridges out of the recon and shrinking the recon. So now the recon was substantially smaller, and the roads and bridges were put somewhere else. Their place is in the bipartisan. Roads and bridges were put into something called the bipartisan. And the Americans' monies kept in the recon, creating a two-path process: recon, Americans' checks, and bipartisan roads and bridges. Why was this great for us? Because finally made the recon passable. We had that confirmation from Democrats and conservatives. Here's a conservative publication, what it said in its recent op-ed. The higher the price line was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending of the recon and put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the price tag for the recon now smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now passable. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. How does that feel? It's the way it happened. I can't help it. But he fell for it. The GOP has nothing to get by blessing the bipartisan, because now it makes the recon passable. Wow. So that was the first benefit. The second benefit was now that the recon was shrunk because of the bipartisan shrunk, now the progressives could add a little bit more in there for you. And so what are they doing? I'll go over first. They are adding stuff in there. And number two, what are they adding in there? I'll explain. So first, we have confirmation they are adding stuff in there. The Progressive Caucus is meeting regularly with the White House to ensure that the recon goes big enough. Then Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens to the bipartisan, the recon goes as far as we want it. There you go. And then we have Representative Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, that says, I refuse to vote for any bipartisan unless the recon is large enough. And he's putting in housing. Housing? Now, that is how they can do that. But what are they doing? Well, here is what you need to know, is that they can do this because they have protection. The protection of the recon was confirmed by Jalopal and Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, also progressive, several weeks ago, where they said that the White House considers the progressive priorities in their own priorities, protecting the recon. So what's going on? Let's understand what a recon is, what it's for, what is it going for, and how it can be modified. A recon is a reconciliation. It's a bill. It's written by Democrats, in this case, for Democrats, to be passed by Democrats. That recon, in this case, is lots of checks for the American people. Now, here's what you need to know, is that a recon has its authors. And who are its authors? The authors of a recon are the House subcommittees. Those House subcommittees are delegated certain subjects. House Ways and Means are dedicated for checks and unemployment. Other committees are dedicated to other subjects. Ultimately, they sit together, they figure out, they draft, they vote, and finally they're finished with their number of pages, however many it is, 10 pages, 100 pages, they're done. And then each of those subcommittees have all those different sets of pages done, and then all they have to do is combine it, and then there's the bill. But each of those subparts are the bill. We, however, don't necessarily get to see them. Under the Constitution, there's no requirement that those House subcommittees show you what they've written, or show you what they voted on, or show you what they put in, or show you what they took out. They have the oversight from the Senate subcommittee because they're part of the discussion, but we don't get to see what they can put in there. So we're going to see later in this video that this House subcommittee members represent on the Ways and Means that they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. They can still change their mind. You want to make sure they don't change their mind. But they should be adding things other in there as well. What could they add in there? Could add in extension of unemployment benefits or reactivation of unemployment benefits like PUA, PEUC, FPUC, student loan debt forgiveness, mortgage forbearance, eviction moratorium. They could add those things in there. And why should they? Because of Thursday. Last Thursday, the economic data that came out was just dreadful. Dreadful. And we're talking about jobs. Jobs is the number one thing, unemployment. The number on Thursday is a number about how many people who had jobs, worked all throughout the pandemic, worked all through 2021, and showed up to a week ago to work and were laid off. How many Americans were laid off after working through this entire pandemic and laid off last week? 373,000 Americans. That's an enormous number. The week before, the estimate that Wall Street is looking for was on the high end of 350. It's horrible. There's concerns of economic fallback. The stock market fell on concerns that the economic recovery is not there on Thursday. China says their economy is slowing. Japan is now in a state of emergency. And then we have the Treasury yields falling 1.25% because of concern that there's not enough economic growth. So you have every right to push with these subcommittees and have them put things in there like unemployment, PUC, PEUC, or student loan debt forgiveness, or mortgage forbearance. Have them put them in there. Remember, also push to get those checks kept in there as well, as they represent. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? Jalopal. As Jalopal had written Schumer a letter saying, "Chuck, call the vote." That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100 plus. Yes, 100 plus. Who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can. As 7 House members wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Now, who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee called House Ways and Means, detailed early in this video, that is solely exclusively responsible for writing that part of the recon that concerns checks and unemployment. They wrote your third recon check. They represent they're writing your fourth recon check, and they represent they're giving you a fifth recon check next year that would not overlap. Ultimately, you need to push for purple power, because legislators can change their mind at any time. They can flip-flop. It could be in there this morning and out by the afternoon, so you need to keep on pushing and ensure they keep it in there. Don't be a donut guy and hold up your donut and say, when am I getting my check? And finally, can we top that? We can, as the President of the United States has now gotten his international agreement on the books as law. 3 weeks ago, we had a ceremonial signature in which an international corporate tax rate minimum became ceremonial law, but was not official until this week. The raising the corporate tax rate minimum is wonderful because it makes forced stimulus now even easier to pass. Why? The international corporate tax rate is a difficult and confusing provision, and it's not something that should be in a recon if you can get it done somewhere else. It's been done somewhere else now, so now it's official. And the incredible great news is that it makes it easier to write the recon, because now the provisions are not in there. It makes it easier to pass it because the provisions are not in there. And then it makes it even easier to pass the forced stimulus recon because now the provisions are not in there. It makes it easier to write the forced stimulus recon, and it makes it easier to call it for a vote. And can we top that? We can, as now the president has set up a forced stimulus recon to head to the finish line. Coming up the second part of this video, we go over the exciting details as Chuck Schumer speaks out about what's happening for the vote. I'll be going over the vote, the July 4th, the July 5th, the July 15th, the July 14th, everything you need to know. We'll be going over the bill, the drafting, all your questions answered. What did Chuck Schumer say? And then we'll turn to the surprising details as Commissioner Saul fired on Friday. Does this impact your fifth stimulus? I'll explain all the details you need to know. But first, something more wonderful, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, or internet, here's a little bit about the volunteers. They can help you get that rent, that internet, that SNAP, and also get it for you easily and quickly. Reach out to them. How do you find them? Go to the description of this video. In the description of the video, you'll see an emoji of a house. Click the emoji of the house. It'll send you to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. On the community page of the volunteers, reach out to them. They'll help you get the money. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with the big exciting finale of your fourth stimulus and that big final 15 minutes. Stay with me to the end. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on early mornings LALATE. The toast is toasted and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and it's a beautiful surf, and I'm excited you're joining me on a great early mornings broadcast. The second part of this video, we go over that final 15 minutes. Oh boy, it's going to be a big one where we go over your fourth stimulus, everything you need to know. Stay tuned to that final 15 minutes of this video. Everything that you've been asked is answered. Then we cut to fifth stimulus with a shocking firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday. What is he saying? I'll have all those details. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like really helps. It also delivers a side of turmeric. and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calzino VIP. Let's get to the breaking details first, right off the bat, of Commissioner Saul. On Friday, Commissioner Saul, the head of Social Security Administration, fired by the president. Does this impact your fifth stimulus reform that was to raise your benefits up across the board? Under fifth stimulus, they're going to raise your benefits up, then remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Does the firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday have anything to do with this, or impact it, or hurt it, or help it? No, has nothing to do with it. Here's what you need to know. All that reform is coming from Congress. The president, when campaigning for president, said he would give it to you. He didn't do it. Then into transition papers, he said he would give it to you. He didn't do it. So they wrote it saying, you promised this to the American people. We're going to do it. And Commissioner Saul couldn't give it to you either. It only comes from Congress. So his firing has nothing to do with you at all. But I certainly got an enormous amount of comments for people asking me to comment about it. The president said that he has the authority because of a recent Supreme Court decision, which the president won in recently firing another person who usually stays in position between the terms of presidents. Commissioner Saul, however, is reacting by saying he's showing up to work on Monday and may sue. Well, interesting. But here's what you need to know about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus will also have another stimulus check. It'll be next year, written by the House Ways and Means Committee. It would not overlap. Number two, the president dedicated before this week $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your third, fourth, and fifth stimulus checks go out on time and also your benefits. And finally, great news as if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. File a tax return and request it on a particular line on the tax return. If you haven't done both, reach out to a tax preparer. Now, this raising up of your benefits a lifetime got a strange twist on Thursday. Let's go over that twist and how this works. First, your benefits will be raised up a lifetime. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, multiple benefits. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is inflation. And then a benchmark will be applied later this year for next year's benefits. And we know that inflation is going up, but on Thursday it went down. What? Why did it go down on Thursday? On Thursday, the Treasury yields fell 1.25%. Ed Hyman, founder and chairman of Evercore at the time, said, "This seems extreme." I think it was extreme. I'm going to stick with Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, who says inflation is going to go up and it's going to reach its highest price point in December. Well, I'm going to stick with him. But maybe the inflation rate's a little bit lower than what we thought. Maybe it'll be 5%. Let's use 5% as a number. That'll raise your benefits up an additional 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have more than $3,000 in hand and a stimulus check. And then they'll see the income exclusion, the income cap going away. You'll be able to work if you wish and also stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty will end. Love is going to win and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits. And you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. But fifth stimulus has a lot of other stuff across the board. And that other stuff under fifth stimulus is incredible details. But how do you find out all this big money? The big money is available for you by becoming a member. Where is the membership link? Under the video. It says join. Join here. By becoming a member, you can get access to all the big money you can get under third stimulus. All the big money you can get under fourth and fifth stimulus as well. So consider becoming a member. It's important to remember that when third stimulus is passed, people said you get a $14 stimulus check. I said, yeah, but I'm going to get you $14,000 because there's fortunes in there. If you're watching the live chat and wondering, wait, how are all these people in the live chat getting all these big sums of money? And how do they have a purple hawk emoji after their name? Because they're members and they're delivered from me to them daily. A breakdown of all the big money under third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. So consider becoming a member so you get access to this big information across the board. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this big early mornings broadcast starting right now. Well, Chuck Schumer speaks out on Friday. And the vote, and the dates, and the bills, and the July 4th, and the July 15th. All your questions are answered starting right now. July 4th. July 4th was a date given by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer over 1,000 times. They said the final vote on the recon will be voted on by July 4th. But it didn't happen. So why did it not happen? When they said that statement, they were referring to the original recon at that time, because that's all they had when they made those comments. And once they had said that, they reached out to their Democrat caucus and said, no, we will not pass that massive recon by July 4th. It's too big to pass. You have to take roads and bridges out. And so then they took roads and bridges out, to which I say, well, wait a second. You took roads and bridges out 2 Wednesdays ago. That was before July 4th. So why did you not call the vote on the recon by July 4th when the recon had been shrunk? The response from the Democrats is that, well, you also have to call a vote on the bipartisan. To which I would say, okay, fine, call the vote on the bipartisan in December, October, November. Let's call the recon for a vote right now. The recon's finished writing, isn't it? Most Democrats say it is, or close to being finished. Well, the Democrats came back and said, no, you have to, or at least some Democrats came back and said, no, I will not vote for the recon unless the bipartisan is passed close in time. Recon has to be passed first. If it's passed last, it fails. But it has to be passed first or concurrently with the bipartisan. Now, there was enough Democrats, however, to say, I need to have the bipartisan voted on, close in time. Same day, couple days away, same week. Okay, to which I say, well, why not call the bipartisan for a vote, before July 4th? What was going on with the bipartisan? The bipartisan didn't have a bill. Didn't have a bill? What do you mean didn't have a bill? Yeah, so unbeknownst to any of us, Shelley Moore Capito, when she was meeting with the president all that month of June negotiating for the GOP, didn't have a bill. She didn't have a paper. She didn't have a pen. Did she have a Crayola crown? She had nothing. And then when those negotiations fell apart, the president started meeting with the bipartisan caucus, and they didn't have a bill. They didn't have a pen. They didn't have a memo. They didn't have a Crayola crown either. And there was no bill, no proposal. To which I would say, but yeah, that was that was 2.5 weeks ago. What have you written since then? Yeah, silence in the room. Hashtag write the bill. Inexcusable. These are legislators. They're elected to write. They're elected to write a bill. They're not elected to just sit back and vote yes or no. They're elected to write laws. And if they can't write a bill, maybe they need to find another profession. Hashtag write the bill. This is becoming 2020. Elected officials need to write the bipartisan. It's holding up the recon because the bipartisan has not been finally written. They need to get it right, and you need to push purple power. Hashtag write the bill. Number 2, dates. I love my viewers. My viewers know, my subscribers, my members all know that July 15th is much of nothing. July 14th, July 15th, July 14th has nothing to do with this channel. If you're a passerby and have asked that date, that's because it's third stimulus, something I don't even cover on this channel anymore. Third stimulus and the children's checks. This is a fourth stimulus video. It has nothing to do with July 14th and July 15th. Number 3, the vote. My subscribers and my members are wonderful because they understand that the voting process revolves around more than one day, and no check is sent out the same day of vote, and no bill is passed with one vote on one day. This ain't a dictatorship, at least not yet. In a dictatorship, you can just call things for a vote in 1 second. I vote. Oh, and it's passed. I decree. Kingdoms. Yes, this is not Game of Thrones. In a democracy, votes take 2 or more steps. In this democracy, it's at least 2 steps. House and Senate. But in this case, we have not 1, but 3 bills we have to pass. We have the recon procedural, the recon substantive, and the bipartisan. How many steps of voting is that? Well, several weeks ago, I did a lot of videos on voting, but now I'm bringing the voting steps back. So you are, because we have new viewers joining this channel. When you do a recon, you need at least 4 steps per bill. So that is 12 steps. 3 times 4, 12. It does not take 12 days. You can do it shorter, but here are the 4 steps times 3. Senate floor, Senate subcommittee calls for a vote. Senate floor, House present. So there you go, 4 steps. This will be starting on the Senate side. It will not be starting on the House side. And hence you see there's 12 steps to get it done. Next, it's important to understand that for purposes of modifying the recon, they can modify the recon to add, reactivate, or extend something from first or second stimulus very, very quickly. Less than about 2 sentences. Here's what's important to remember, is that under first stimulus, CARES Act in March of 2020, when they created PUA, it took thousands of pages to write it. But when they want to say, oh, we want to do that PUA for that prior law for another 3 weeks, they don't have to write 1,000 pages again. All they have to do is write one sentence. We extend that PUA thing from 2020 another 3 more weeks. Done, period. So if they want to modify the recon in any way because economic data is getting bad or good, they can do it. This is where you need to step up. You have to be opportunistic. You have to push because the economic data last week was horrible. There's been enough videos on this channel from 2020 to 2021 where we said the economic data is really good. It may work against us. They may say, hey, you don't need stimulus. The economy is doing really well. Economic data last week was awful, awful. And so you need to use this opportunity. If you think that PUA, PUC should be in there, student loan debt forgiveness, or mortgage forbearance, eviction moratorium, mortgage assistance, anything needs to be in there, you need to push Purple Power because this is the opportunity across the board. Next, Wall Street will be looking to what's happening, Congress and the president will be looking to what's happening next week. Next week starts a time in which we call something corporate earnings weeks. It goes on for a few weeks, but it starts next week. And if these corporate earnings are blockbusterly good, just incredibly good, that may work against us. If they're just good, that may be work in favor of us. And if they're horrible, that may work really in favor of us. Trust me, it's important to understand that they're going to be looking at this data as well. What is the data? Well, on Tuesday, PepsiCo, JP Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs report earnings. Jim Cramer says of PepsiCo will give us great numbers, but they also have to talk about the raw costs going up, especially freight. Middle of the week will be the banks reporting, like Bank of America, Citicorp. Delta report, and Cramer says, I want to know how much damage Delta is doing to Delta variant. We also want to know if business travelers are finally coming back. I don't think they are. And if I'm correct, then the numbers may be bad. And then the end of the week are Kansas City Southern, First Horizon, Alcoa. It's important to understand that bad economic data works in your favor. You have to push Purple Power. You've been doing a great job. You have been doing a great job, but you have to do more. If you think there are items that I don't cover in this video that should be included in forced stimulus, make the push. Remember, you can't put your feet up on a chair and be a donut guy. This has never been a donut guy channel. We don't subscribe to donut guy syndrome, which is just tell me when I'm getting my check. That syndrome doesn't work because legislators may change their mind. We may start on a Monday morning with checks in there and end by Monday afternoon with checks out of there. We may start on a Monday morning with checks in there, and by afternoon we may have checks and unemployment in there. Ultimately, they can make changes based upon big swings of where this economy is going. Bad economic data works in our favor. Finally, it's important to understand that I really want to praise you for really stepping up and getting this big money. The viewers who have been getting this $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for rent and utilities show how you can do it. I don't think in the history of this channel have I seen a better performance by viewers getting this big sum of money. Money is money. And the way to financial stability is getting your bills covered for. If you have the federal government paying $12,000 for your SNAP per year, that is $12,000 that you aren't spending that you could spend on something else. So let's say you have a car on the driveway that needs to have its carburetor fixed and it's $800. You've had $12,000 freed up because it's covered by SNAP. Or let's say you have a tooth that you have to have done and you don't have coverage for it and it's $250, but you got rent assistance and so you don't have to pay $10,000 of rent. Now you have an additional $10,000 financial burden taken off of your back that will leave you with the ability to maybe go spend that money to go get that tooth done. That is how we do things to be financially dependent in this channel. And I really applaud you. Remember, every time you have a success story, post it because it inspires other people. It snowballs. And the more people who get the money, the more people who inspire other people. It also updates me about how big the money can go. Finally, if you see someone that is not a subscriber, not a member, they're sort of passing through and doesn't really understand things, try to share the information with them, and I really think that helps. There's always someone that's just sort of new passing through and doesn't understand things. They say things like, what day are they voting and sending the check out on that day? Not going to happen. This is not a dictatorship. Or they say things like, the fact that they have to approve it by the House and Senate, they're now dragging their feet. No, that's under the Constitution. There's other ways to direct the fees, just not that one. And ultimately, anyone who just says something like, well, I just want to know, am I getting a check or not getting a check? That makes them show their lack of willing to understand things or be educated about things, because you don't understand that person doesn't understand that something has to become a law before anything gets set out. And ultimately, laws can get changed down to the final minute. In fact, once it becomes law, it can get modified as well. We saw that with Javita Light in 2020. And so with that, thank you for joining me on this early mornings broadcast. I'm next back with you with Mornings LA live on air at 9 a.m. Overnight's Crypto is currently airing on the channel, so if you stay on this video, it'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto. It's a great show for a 15-hour run. Jump in there, and it's easy breezy. It's all done for beginners as well. Coming up next is Mornings LA, then Noontime LA at 11 a.m. and Mornings Crypto live on air. And with that, subscribe. About 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, so you get access to all that incredible information daily from me about how you get thousands and thousands of dollars on the third stimulus. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. Stay with LA.